Double entry system is the extension of dual aspect concept. As we saw earlier, a business has numerous transactions. Every transaction has two aspects, a debit aspect and a credit aspect. Let's understand the two aspects with an example. Santo Engineering Industries decides to buy a drilling machine which costs rupees 1 lakh. The management decides to buy it on ready cash. Therefore, when the company buys the machine, there are two aspects. Aspect 1, the company gains an asset, that is machinery. Aspect 2, the company gives an asset, that is cash, to purchase the machinery. To know which aspect is credit and debit, we need to look at the accounting equation, which is assets plus expenses equals liabilities plus income plus equity. As we saw in the dual aspect concept, we debit when assets or expenses increase or when liabilities or income or equity decreases. We do the opposite for credit. That is, we credit when assets or expenses decreases or when liabilities or income or equity increases. Therefore, in our example, when we refer the accounting equation, we see aspect 1 is machinery, which is an asset, which is added to the company's purchase account. Since the asset is increasing, as per the accounting equation, we need to debit the purchases account with rupees 1 lakh. Aspect 2 is cash, which is also an asset, which is reduced from the company's cash account. Since the asset is reducing, as per the accounting equation, we need to credit the cash account with rupees 1 lakh. This information is recorded in a journal in the following fashion. We will look at the journal entry specifically in the later chapters. Thus, through accounting, we have shown how cash was paid to buy the machinery. Now let us consider another example where the drilling machine cost remains to be rupees 1 lakh. However, instead of entirely paying the amount by cash, the management decides to pay rupees 60,000 by cash and pay the rest of rupees 40,000 later. Let's look at the two aspects. Aspect 1, the company gains an asset, that is machinery. Aspect 2, the company gives an asset, that is cash, which partly pays for the machinery. For the rest, the company needs to pay the seller later, that is credit purchase, for Santo Engineering Industries. When we refer to the accounting equation, we see aspect 1 is machinery, which is an asset, which is added to the company's purchase account. Since the asset is increasing, as per the accounting equation, we need to debit the machinery account with rupees 1 lakh. Now aspect 2 has two items, cash and credit purchase. Cash is an asset and it is reduced from the company's cash account. Since the asset is reducing, as per the accounting equation, we need to credit the cash account with rupees 60,000. Credit purchases, that is, the amount to be paid by Santo Engineering has increased. Therefore, as per the accounting equation, we need to credit the liability account of supplier A with rupees 40,000. Thus, through accounting, we have shown how Santo Company made the payment to buy the machinery. The two aspects that we saw, that is, debit aspect and credit aspect, is the basis of double entry system. The double entry system is so named because it records both aspects of the transaction. The features of the double entry system are that each transaction has two aspects, a debit aspect and a credit aspect. 2. Every business transaction affects 2 or more accounts. 3. Double entry helps in preparing the trial balance, which is a test of arithmetical accuracy in accounting. There are two different ways of memorizing the effects of debit and credit on account in double entry system. They are 1. Accounting equation approach or American approach. 2. Traditional approach or British approach. In accounting equation approach, as we already saw earlier, transactions are recorded based on the equation assets plus expenses equals liabilities plus income plus equity. All accounts are classified into 5 types: assets, expenses or gains or loss, liabilities, income or revenues, and equity. The rules of the debit and credit depends on the nature of account. That is, we debit when assets or expenses increase or when liabilities or income or equity decreases. We do the opposite for credit. That is, we credit when the assets or expenses decreases or when liabilities or income or equity increases. In traditional approach, accounts are classified as real account, personal account, and nominal account. The rules of the debit and credit in this method are: for real account, we debit what comes in and credit what goes out. For personal account, we debit the receiver and credit the giver. For nominal account, we debit all expenses and losses and credit all income and gains. We will later look into what each of these accounts mean in the traditional approach. The advantages of double entry system are: 1. This is the only system of recording business transactions. 2. This system maintains a complete record of all business transactions. 3. By the use of this system, the accuracy of the accounting work can be established by the preparation of trial balance, that is, ensuring the debit and credit side adds up to the same amount. 4. Double entry helps in preparation of profit and loss and balance sheet, which ascertains the profit or loss of a business entity and the financial position of the business entity respectively.